Recycle those tin cans in your bin to make this easy and inexpensive floral decor using items from the dollar store. To start, you'll need a tin can that has a lip at the bottom instead of a rounded bottom. You'll use a can opener to remove both ends. Place the can with the seam in the back on a soft surface and use your hands to press the bottom edges together as tightly as possible. You can use pliers if you like to assist. Drill holes in the back so that you can hang your smush can when you're through. Now it's time to decorate. You can use whatever you like, but here are 3 fall-themed ideas. For the first look, use a Sharpie to create a jack-o'-lantern face and drill small holes around the edges of the eyes and mouth. Paint the can orange using 2 coats of paint. When the second coat is dry, use black paint for the eyes and mouth. Let that dry. Add ribbon to the top and bottom edges to complete the look. For the second can, cover it with 2 coats of paint and allow to dry. Cover it with Mod Podge and attach a complementary ribbon and then attach a bow to the center. You'll decoupage your can for the third look. Apply 2 coats of white paint to the can and allow to dry. Take a fall-themed napkin and separate the 2 plies. Apply a coat of Mod Podge and lay the napkin over, using your fingers to gently smooth the napkin out. Once dry, add a top coat of Mod Podge and let dry completely. Then use sandpaper or an emery board to sand the excess napkin off. Use twine, string, or floral wire to create hooks for the back of the cans. Fill with fall faux florals and display on doorknobs, coat hooks, or anywhere you like.
Head to the recycle bin for this cute and creative idea that won't break the bank. To start, I'm choosing an LED puck light from the Dollar Tree. Lights that come with a remote would be an added bonus. To determine the wood sizes, 1 piece of wood is cut to the same width of the tin can, 1 piece slightly larger for the base, and 2 cedar strips measuring 12 inches long that will hold up the can. Working within the smaller board thickness, I'm pre-drilling 2 screw holes on the bottom of each cedar strip plus 1 hole near the top. I'm now choosing my paint colors of Raw Silk and Coal Black by Fusion Mineral Paint. Both cedar strips and the smaller wood block are being painted in 2 coats of black. Using a gloved hand for protection from the metal, I'm positioning the tin can over my hand, then painting it with 2 coats of raw silk. Now it's assembly time. The main base is being placed good side down, then the smaller block of wood is being positioned on top and traced. I'm now pre-drilling 4 screw holes in the main base within the marked area. Flipping the base good side up, I'm positioning the smaller board on top of the base, then holding that position, carefully flipping it around and attaching the 2 pieces together from the underside with screws. This will mount the 2 boards together without the screws showing. I'm now attaching the 2 cedar strips to both sides of the smaller piece of wood through the 2 screw holes. Now the tin can is being held in between the 2 cedar strips. I'm drilling a small hole through one side of the can using a small metal drill bit, then attaching the can to the strips with a short screw. You can also use a nut and bolt if preferred. I realized later that you could slightly see the inside of the can, so I'm doing a quick touch-up with the paint to cover any exposed metal. To enhance the overall look, I'm hot gluing some thin white rope to the entire edge of the open can's side, which softens the edges really nicely. Then with a quick push of a button, my tin can task light is ready to use wherever I wish. This hands-free task lighting is surprisingly very bright thanks to the LED puck, and the can is easy to position wherever you need a little bit of extra light. I love the aesthetic of the tones, which marries my home office really well. Plus, there's even a place for a sticky notepad to help me get my work done.
The next time you are recycling a tin can, don't. Save the can, wash it thoroughly with soap, rinse, and remove the paper label. Now fill the can or cans with clean water and place them into the freezer. While you wait for the water in the cans to freeze, hop online and start searching for a simple winter design that you like. Then, center your paper graphic onto the can and tape it in place with some strong packing tape. Using a drill, Find a center point on your graphic and drill a hole vertically through the can and into the ice below. You don't need to drill far, just enough to get through the can. Continue to drill holes along the pattern of your template. If using a linear graphic like my snowflake, there is an alternate way of doing this. Lay your pattern out where you can see it. Most tin cans will have a vertical seam on one side of the can. Drill a vertical line of holes along this seam. Then take a marker and do a quick sketch of the snowflake onto the can. Then use your rough sketch to drill the holes. Most tin cans have horizontal grooves in the can, and it is easiest to drill through the groove depressions. Once you're done drilling the holes, run your can under warm water to melt the ice inside. If your can has any bumps or bulges that you don't want, take a hammer and hammer those spots out. Take a votive candle or a puck light and place it in the can to illuminate the punched pattern in your new winter lantern.
If you're debating on planting some herbs this summer, consider a few slightly larger tin cans from your recycle bin with a twist. I first head to Home Depot to pick out a few healthy herb plants. I am choosing to add this feature to a garden bed that is in need of a fresh look, so I removed all the rusty junk off the garden fence to prepare the space for my new idea. It's a good idea to choose a slightly shady spot so the cans don't dry out quite as quickly. Since every tin can came from coffee with colorful labels that happened to chime in perfectly with my flowers and cold frame in my flower bed, I decided to embrace the labels as is for a true upcycled vibe. All the tin cans are being flipped upside down. My plan had been to drill holes into the bottom of the cans, but after the bit slipped, I remembered I should make a dent in the cans first with a hammer and nail. That just ended up being easier, so I punched holes in the bottoms of the tins with a thick number 10 nail and hammer. I then placed the back side of each tin on a piece of scrap wood, then hammered in a nail hole I will use to hang the cans from. Next up, I gathered a bunch of rocks from my yard, then poured them inside the cans until the bottoms were well covered. This will help with drainage. To prepare the herbs, I am cutting the plant label away from the compost pot, then removing the pot bottom while loosening the roots a little. Reaching for some soil suitable for container planting, each tin bottom is being filled with soil. Now I'm inserting the plant and adding filler soil around the edges, taking care to leave some space for watering. Gathering all the herb cans near the fence, I'm inserting a screw through the back hole from the inside of the can, then using a drill to screw it in place while holding the can against the fence. I'm hanging each can, rotating size and color so the arrangement looks well thought out. Now that all the cans are hung, I'm selecting a gentle spray to water each can until it's well soaked, checking the drain holes to make sure they function well. And since the labels match the blue and green cans, I'm deciding to embrace them as is as well. To further personalize the area, I'm stenciling a small garden sign to theme up the space. Reaching for a herb stencil from Funky Junk's Old Sign Stencils, the stencil is being positioned over a piece of reclaimed wood, then stenciled in Fusion's Coal Black. Some thin twine is being cut and wrapped on each side of the sign for a little added rustic interest. And the end result is a super sweet herb garden wall that smells as good as it is cheerful in appearance. I love the dance of the vibrant colors of the can labels. It's unexpected while adding so much interest to this little garden area. And since each can happens to be from coffee, I further themed the area with a few antique coffee pots to chime in. Not only is this little herb garden now ready for summer, it's also ready to serve up the most delicious herbs I can clip from when needed.